Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Morrow. I'll be presenting on Dr. Saul Axelrod. I chose to study on Dr. Axelrod mainly because of his contributions he's made to the literature of ABA. He's also contributed to some very relevant topics that I'm interested in, mainly dealing with its ABA's relevance in the classroom and a couple other things that we'll go through in this presentation. So. This is Dr. Axelrod himself. I'd like to just start with one of his quotes. Over the past 60 years, applied behavior analysis has made notable contributions to the literature involving populations with developmental disabilities. And this is from Applied Behavior Analysis, Autism MBA, and that was in 2012. It was published actually a year after he retired, but again, we'll get to that. This is one of those texts that I chose because it kind of really shows Axelrod's contributions to promoting ABA to a wider audience. He started his career at Temple University, which we'll get to again. He'll end up retiring there, where he earned a bachelor's in mathematics. After that, he continued his education at Florida State University, where he earned a master's in psychology. I guess he liked the warm weather because he stuck around and stayed in at Florida State. And he earned his doctorate of education. In 2006, I kind of wanted to highlight his awards just so you could see how important he's been to the community, the ABA community. In 2006, he was the first recipient of the Michael Hemingway Award for Distinguished Service to Behavior Analysis from the Behavior Analyst Certification Board. And then again in 2012, he was awarded the Enduring Achievement Award by the Pennsylvania Association for Behavior Analysis. This is some of his life and career highlights. He spent 39 years of his 46-year career at Temple University. I did not include his education there as well. So if you want to tie that into it, he's been at Temple for 40 years, and it shows in like a lot of the people he's collaborated with to or other behavior analysts that he's collaborated with have come from Temple. I noticed that in a lot of other presentations, and a lot of the other people we had to choose from when we were choosing this assignment. He was a professor of special education at Temple until 2011. He contributed to over 10 books and 60 academic journals throughout his career, and he's really credited for researching and writing across the disciplines of education and psychology, which I thought was very interesting. And that's kind of why I wanted to learn more about Dr. Axelrod, just because my undergraduate, I was in education. And I'm very interested in seeing how the two intermingle and how they can both contribute, or how ABA can really contribute to classroom management. He worked extremely hard to take the complex world of ABA and simplify it for teachers to understand and implement procedures. Now, when I say simplify it, I just mean he kind of made the terms easier to understand. He took what you would learn maybe in a semester or in 2 semesters and kind of made it easier for teachers to take his terms and take his strategies and implement it in his own classrooms, which is, again, what I was interested in when I started studying on him. Some of his publications that I chose to study, I had a reason for choosing all of them. I'll kind of go through them here. Functional and structural analysis of behavior, approaches leading to reduced use of punishment procedures. I thought this was a very interesting article. Kind of just goes away from the early days of ABA where punishment procedures were used a lot. He kind of also says at the end of the article how if you're not using punishment procedures, that other people kind of take you more seriously as a behavior analyst, because punishment procedures are so widely used that it's almost a new technique. Identification of behavioral function in public schools and clarification of terms. Going back to the last slide, this is what I was talking about with Axelrod kind of simplifying terms and making it easier to understand. It kind of focused a lot around the IDEA Act in the early 2000s, and kind of just breaks down the differences in some terms that are easily confused. Increasing teachers' use of 1-to-1 praise to behavior correction ratio to decrease student disruption in general education classrooms. This is kind of a summary of an experiment he did with 3 different teachers who used low rates of praised behavior correction. And he discovered that, when they were using this 1-to-1 praise to behavior correction ratio, that the classroom was better managed and maintained. Applied behavior analysis, autism being, I mentioned earlier in the presentation how Axelrod is a really big promoter of ABA. And this is an example. This kind of just notes the accomplishments of behavior analysis over the years and how much it's grown and developed into a strong alternative to other measures. And then the last one, if you couldn't guess by the title, is the contributions of applied behavior analysis to the education of people with autism. Again, this is a big promotion of ABA and how the ABA community was initially thought or rejected by the autism community for their practices, and how it's, according to the Surgeon General, one of the most widely accepted ways to help teach people with autism. So those are his publications I took a look at. There might be one more. Yep. This is one that kind of relates to me. It's drug treatment for hyperactivity, controversies, alternatives, and guidelines. I take Adderall for ADHD, and this was kind of a publication on how Axelrod notes that a lot of times kids are being misdiagnosed or diagnosed too quickly, and that there's not time for behavior modification procedures to take place. I thought this was interesting because it kind of makes sense when you think of the drug companies putting their 2 cents in, and doctors, promoting a drug, not really, maybe overdiagnosing, and instead of taking the alternative route, which Axelrod is lobbying for here. Common themes of his literature: he's very consistent in his research. He focused on the relationship between behavior analysis and education. Like I said, him using ABA to try to help classroom management, help teachers, better give a better educational experience to their students. He simplifies the terms and procedures, like I mentioned earlier, with so the teachers that have had that extensive training, or seek a graduate level course like this. He was really focused on improving the lives of students in the classroom and also at home. He really took a strong focus in improving the education of children with poverty, and also those suffering from self-injurious behaviors. And he, like I said, I've mentioned a couple times, he really promoted ABA in these 2 texts, the contributions of applied behavior analysis and autism and beyond. He was, I'd say he was at the forefront in promoting his career, not just his career, but ABA as a whole. My interview questions were: what was the proudest moment of your long storied career? What would you like to see from the future of behavior analysis? How has ABA changed since you started your career? Gotta remember, this is a 46-year career. It's been a long time, still relatively a new concept. And what do you think are the biggest accomplishments since you've been practicing? In your opinion, is learning how to speak behavioral language fluently really as important as we're taught? I had to throw that one in there. I want to know about it. Your article, Drug Treatment for Hyperactivity, Controversial Alternatives and Guidelines, focuses on children being medicated to alter their behavior rather than seeing a behavior analyst. Do you see medicating, as a downward trend in the future? As someone who takes Adderall for ADHD at 24 myself, and would like to stop using it, how would you proceed? And then the last one, that might be in the way: how could teachers benefit from taking courses focusing on ABA? In conclusion, Dr. Axelrod has been crucial to the success and improvements of ABA over his 40-plus year career. Perhaps his biggest accomplishment was bridging the gap between ABA and the classroom setting. Providing simplified strategies and procedures to teachers has benefited many students. I'm sure you can make that assumption, but it's really something I wanted to point out because he's really helped a lot of teachers use his procedures in the class and betters everyone. And then finally, he has been a big advocate for ABA and has done his part to positively promote his practices and image. So that's my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. and good luck at the rest of the semester. Thanks.